And welcome in, everybody, to another edition of Inside Edge Primetime here on the Inside Edge Network. Chad Bryan to my right, your left, I am Eli Moon. Welcome in, everybody. It is Thursday. It is the end of our primetime week, and we have a lot to talk about here today. Chad and I, we are off to a late start because technical difficulties tend to get the best of all of us at one point or another, Chad. I think our pre-show meeting, we sounded more like robots than we did human beings. So there was that. And then, I'm under the weather. The weather changes here. We went from 70 degrees in Cleveland, Ohio to 30. I think it was 35 degrees today. I'm not feeling the best, but I'm here. We're persevering. We're rocking and rolling because we got some stuff we got to talk about. There was a very, very eventful day in terms of basketball, in terms of football. I know you are still feeling some type of way about the Miami Heat and their news the other day. And obviously, if you go to our TikTok on Inside Edge Net, give us a follow on all the socials. But if you go to TikTok, obviously, Chad is battling with the TikTokers right now with his comments on Bam Adebayo. So we'll get into all that today. Chad, how are you feeling, man? I like I said, I'm a little under the weather. Are you doing all right through this weather changes?
I'm okay. I mean, I feel it. I definitely feel the difference. But man, what the hell happened to us earlier? Listen. Maybe we should have just done the show like that. I don't know. It was kind of fun. It was entertaining. I couldn't stop laughing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know what happened. I really don't honestly know. I don't know what that was.
We couldn't hear each other. It was you restarted your computer, I restarted my computer, and we were just both in some trouble. So we are off and running though. However, and I have a lot to talk about. You know, the NCAA is in full swing with their conference tournaments. March Madness literally about a week away. You know, Selection Sunday is this Sunday. So we'll have some announcements here pretty soon, Chad. But the big story is the 31-0 Miami RedHawks aren't undefeated anymore. They are now 31-1. They fell 87-83 to the 8th ranked UMass squad there, the Minutemen. And they lost in the MAC tournament the first round. So that's the 8th ranked in the MAC tournament. For Miami to go all year undefeated and now lose, this is kind of what we talked about for weeks here on Primetime, Chad. If Miami were to lose in the first round or, you know, have an early exit in this MAC tournament, do they miss the NCAA tournament with teams like Auburn, Ohio State getting hot late down the year? Now is this a worry that Miami misses the tournament? Now being 31-1, despite, you know, going undefeated, they now might be at the mercy of the committee.
Yeah, I mean, I think Robo Me would have said they got in for sure, but Human Me knows that the selection, you know, the selection committee may not see it that way. Listen, if they had gotten to the finals, I think, and competed in the final, it's not like they got blown out today, but I mean, losing in the first round to, you know, the 8th seeded team in your conference when you're 31-0. Is a bad look when people are talking about your strength of schedule. You know, it'd be different if they had lost down the stretch to Duke or UConn or something, 87-83, whatever. You wouldn't even bat an eye. You go, okay, well, I think they proved they belong in, right? They played one Power 5 team, whatever. They competed. Yeah, whatever. Let's put them in there, 31-1. But the 31-1 is different. I think it hits a little bit differently when you lose to UMass in the first round of the MAC tournament. And I think I don't remember if I had mentioned it on this show or not, but I had said on one of these shows, I'm getting old, sorry to keep track of where I go and where I say things, but I had said that there was a lot of pressure. I felt like even though they were the 1 seed and like normally you feel like you're going to cruise through the conference tournament, there's a little bit of pressure on the 1 seed, but I felt like the pressure was really just kind of I don't know. There was extra pressure on them, I guess, because they not only were the 1 seed, but they were the 1 seed that was undefeated and still had to prove themselves worthy of getting into the tournament, right? So they had to be perfect. You had to stay perfect all through the tournament. Maybe, like I said, if you got to the finals, there was a chance. I don't know, Eli. I'm not sure. I feel like they deserve a shot. They're 31-1. Let them in as a play-in team or whatever. But, you know, we talked about it earlier. You and I were texting. I think Ohio State, you know, getting hot and now playing decently in the Big Ten tournament, but just playing well down the stretch and winning some games that maybe we didn't think they would have won. I think that may have changed Miami of Ohio's fate. I hope they can get in at the very least, as a play-in team. But I don't know, man. I'm not sure. That schedule was pretty bad.
it was bad, and now they might be going through Dayton to the first four that is to get to the NCAA tournament. The real dance. After the first four, and it's going to be interesting to keep an eye on that. Obviously, we will hear because we didn't expect this. We were talking about a Miami of Ohio versus Akron matchup, or maybe Double A hoping for his Bowling Green team. But obviously, we were expecting a different matchup than UMass advancing to the second round. This isn't like some of these other conference tournaments where they've given the first seed, an advance to the semifinals. Where some of these conference tournaments are running like that. This is, you have to win it. You have to go win four different games.
Yeah.
You have to win quarterfinals. You got to get it done, and they didn't. And that's the thing. You look at some of the out of conference matchups for Miami of Ohio. It's like you said, Chad. It's not pretty, and that's kind of what it comes down to. Is Miami of Ohio, is their strength of schedule going to hurt them when it comes to a team like Auburn? I think Ohio State is going to get in. I mean, they won again today in the Big Ten tourney. They'll play Michigan tomorrow. So, you kind of keep an eye on teams like that. But, yeah, Miami of Ohio, a team that won 25 games last year. So this isn't like, and the coach had spoke about that, this isn't like some out of nowhere surprise. But you would think, maybe in the future they're going to start booking at least a little bit stronger opponents. If you feel like you're elevating your play and you're 31-1, maybe you have to rank, yourself against some of these other teams and actually play against them going into the season. So, but 20th ranked team, I believe, in the nation, Miami of Ohio. So for them to miss a tourney, this would be something that we probably haven't seen in quite some time. In the respect, I think that's why they were ranked 20th. Is the respect. You're undefeated. You can't leave an undefeated team out of there. But now it's like, now you're 31-1, and it feels like this one loss has allowed everybody to kind of open the floodgates on why they shouldn't be in the tournament.
Yeah, and it really, honestly, I'll be honest with you, it changed my perspective a little bit. Again, losing the first game in the MAC tournament was a little rough. That was a tough look for me. And people say it's funny to hear that. Well, they struggled down the stretch. They were 31-0. I mean, you can say that but saying you struggled to a win is a weird statement to me. They did find a way to win those games, but I mean, technically, if you look at it, people are right. I mean, again, it's not like they were playing the Dukes, the Arizonas, the UConns, the Kansases of the world, right? The MAC wasn't quite there this year in basketball. A couple good teams, a couple of decent teams, I should say. Not, top 25 teams. Obviously, Miami of Ohio was there, but I don't know that I know that no one-loss team has ever been left out of the tournament before. I do not know about a top 20 ranked team. I would seriously doubt that a top 20 team has ever been left out of the field at 64. So I would think if we do see that, both of those situations would be unprecedented. But also, hey, understandable. I get it. I feel like they deserve a shot, but I won't be shocked if they don't get in. I guess is where I'm at with it right now, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it makes plenty of sense. The last time that two MAC teams got in was 1999. Yeah. That was when Miami of Ohio earned that large bid alongside tournament champion Kent State.
Yeah, those were the Wally Zerbiak days, right?
Yeah, and you think about it, so they've had success before getting in. Last time two MAC tournament teams were in, it was Miami of Ohio, and they didn't get in because they were the tournament champions. That was the Golden Flashes. So we'll see if they can do it again. We'll see. But Akron, now they're kind of the standout, I think, for this tournament. Akron usually a mainstay in this NCAA tournament. It seems like the last 10 years or so. They've consistently gotten there, and I'm curious to see if the NCAA will allow two MAC tournament teams or MAC teams to get in there, and have some Cinderella stories there. Yeah,
we'll see. I'm starting to have my doubts.
Yeah, absolutely. So we will take a quick pause here. When we come back here, we are going to talk about the NFL. We're going to talk about Kyler Murray. He has a new home. It is over in Minnesota. What does that mean for Minnesota? Is Kevin O'Connell going to make Kyler Murray the next reclamation project? We'll see about that. And the Bengals, they finally started working on their defense. And Chad was shocked. So we're going to talk about the Bengals. We're going to talk about the defense. We're going to talk about the AFC North as well. But before we do go to break, we do want to remind you real quick about our friend AllieRoseFragrances.com and the code InsideEdge20. That's capital I, capital E, InsideEdge20, all one word. Chad, spring's coming right around the corner.
Yeah.
Great candles, great body mist. I mean, just smells good. and treating a loved one right now with a great 20% off. I mean, you might as well get them 4 or 5 candles. I mean, great deal right now.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, allyrosefragrances.com. Use the code InsideEdge20. And Eli said it. Spring's coming up. You're gonna have the windows open, breezes going through the house, whatever. My wife's office still smells absolutely phenomenal. I found that. By the way, I found out where my candles went. They were in her office. I had to re-procure my spiced apple candle. Definitely didn't shoot a McDonald's CEO style promo. I would never do that. But I did re-procure my candle out of my wife's office. I think she was trying to steal all my Alley Rose Fragrances candles. So if that tells you anything, listen, they make great gifts. We actually gifted one to my son's teacher for her birthday. She loved it. She wrote a thank you note, said thank you. It smells great. Whatever. It's just I can't say enough about them. I mean, they're vegan material, made with vegan materials, cruelty free, handmade right here in the United States in Charlotte, North Carolina. Just everything good that you like about a business. It's a small business, and the candles smell phenomenal. I do not know about the body mist. I did not order any body mist yet. My wife has been eyeing them as we speak. So we may put in another order here soon. And as I said the other day, and as I've been saying, the turnaround time was so incredibly fast. We ordered our candles on a Friday night, had them on a Tuesday afternoon. Just amazing turnaround time, again, for a small business. And it blew my mind that they got here so quickly. But yes, please visit our sponsor at allyrosefragrances.com and use that code InsideEdge20 to save yourself 20% off your first order.
Absolutely. InsideEdge20, first time customers, use that code, get 20% off your order. You heard Chad and I, allyrosefragrances.com. We'll take a quick pause here. When we come back, we're going to talk about the NFL, Kyler Murray, the Cincinnati Bengals, and so much more. We're back right after this, Inside Edge Primetime. And welcome back to Inside Edge Primetime here on the Inside Edge Network. Chad Bryan to my right, your left. I am Eli Moon, and we are back. We have a lot to talk about, Chad. We talked about the Miami RedHawks losing in the first round there of the MAC tournament to UMass, the Minutemen, 87-83, and we'll see if they get into the NCAA tournament this election Sunday. And we'll kind of keep an eye on the conference tournaments coming up. But a lot to talk about when it comes to the NFL. And probably your favorite quarterback. You've had some very strong opinions about this guy. But it has been reported that, per the team, that Kyler Murray has signed with the Minnesota Vikings. He has left the Arizona Cardinals, and now he's a Minnesota Viking. Kevin O'Connell, the Reclamation Project king, it seems like, and most recently Sam Darnold, though they didn't keep Sam Darnold. He won a Super Bowl with the Seattle Seahawks.
Oops.
But now you got Kyler Murray now in Minnesota, and you got J.J. McCarthy, who they did draft with a top 10 pick.
Yeah.
So
that's 9. That's not J.J. McCarthy. That's 9.
That's right. Now you have both of those guys in the locker room now, in the quarterback room.
Fun.
Do you think this is Kyler Murray's job, or is he just being brought in for competition? It seems like, a guy, former number 1 overall pick, a guy who, they didn't sign it wasn't a ton of money, but a guy who can definitely air it out. That was one of the big things in Arizona, was he at least could air the ball out.
Yeah.
And in Minnesota, they have the weapons there: Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, even Jalen Naylor. You have Aaron Jones in the backfield. It could get interesting. Do you think this is Kyler Murray's job?
They're going to have a competition. As poorly as J.J. McCarthy played at times, there were times when he looked okay. And you thought, he's taking a step forward, and then he would take 2 steps back the next week. And it was sort of, that kind of a season. And that's not atypical for rookie quarterbacks. That happens. We saw it happen with Shedeur Sanders. We saw Dylan Gabriel take so many steps back where it looked like he was moonwalking. It happens. He didn't take a lot of steps forward. He forgot the step forward part. But I'm looking at, and by the way, when I went to search Kyler Murray, my browser said, "We'll be with you shortly." That's not a joke. It really, the screen went black and it said, "We'll be with you shortly." And it's like, did it know? Is that a Google thing that I was searching Kyler Murray? One time in his, and maybe not his fault. Arizona had struggles putting things together. But one time in his NFL career, he had a winning record for a season as a starting quarterback. Just a little bit over 2-to-1 touchdown interception ratio. So he's going to complete it to somebody, right? He's going to throw it to somebody. Not, maybe not as. And here's the thing, though: you get all the interceptions without the excitement of a Jameis Winston, right? I feel like you have to have at least that personality. If you're going to throw a ton of interceptions, you're going to throw it to the other team, you better be funny, man. Like, you better be absolutely hilarious in the post-game press conferences and have some fun, when you're mic'd up or whatever. Something. I don't know. It just feels a little like he's just kind of a boring quarterback to me. And I don't really even mean to throw shade. He just doesn't move the needle for me. Maybe it works out with McConnell. I don't know. I have no idea. But yeah, I believe for the really long answer that I just gave you, yes, I think they're going to have a quarterback competition in Minnesota. I think you've got to do something. And I think it's possible he could win it. You never know.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Kyler Murray, you mentioned, not the most success in terms of winning seasons, but he also hasn't had a lot of stability in Arizona.
Yeah, no, that's fair to say. Yeah.
And that's the thing, too. Marvin Harrison Jr. hasn't really panned out to be the guy they were expecting, and maybe if that's Kyler Murray more so, or maybe it's Marvin Harrison Jr., we don't know. I guess we'll find out here very shortly. But, it's just never really panned out for Kyler Murray, and I think, part of it is because of the weapons around him, the stability around him, or the instability around him. And I think in Minnesota, he's going to get a little bit of change of pace. Kevin O'Connell, a guy who has been there for a while now in Minnesota, enough time where, okay, this is how we're going to run things here. You're going to come in here, and if you can win the job, you're probably going to have some success. You're playing with one of the best, if not the best receiver in the NFL, in Justin Jefferson. You have a pretty good defense still in Minnesota. And Minnesota, despite a down year, was still competing in the NFC North. They were still competitive, and imagine if, Kyler Murray can get in there and throw 30, 35 touchdowns, can keep the interceptions down a little bit. Maybe Kevin O'Connell can teach him something like that. I know you've been adamant about him going over to baseball even, maybe doing something different. But, is this his last shot?
I don't know. I feel like when you're, for a former number 1 overall pick, like you said, just a former first-round quarterback, you're going to get a ton of shots. And I think that quarterback is such a premium position. It's not an easy position to play, and sometimes I think the tendency to say there's only like 32 guys that are really good at it, right? Because they start in the NFL. I mean, I don't even know if there's 32 guys that are really good at it. Like sometimes you look at the NFL and there's a definite difference between like the top 7 to 10 guys and that middle, like where you go from like 11 to 22 or 11 to 23, whatever. There's a huge difference sometimes. I mean, a really, really big difference. And then the bottom of the league is, obviously it gets exponentially worse sometimes. But that's not, again, I don't mean to throw shit. These are the best quarterbacks in the world. Who else are you going to go out there and get, right? It just so happens it's not really an easy position to play. It's tough. The NFL, everything happens really quickly, right? Your throwing windows, they open up and disappear very quickly. And you have to be able to anticipate those things. And I think to be able to, run the offense and anticipate things, and now he's going to a new situation, new offense, new terminology. I mean, he's probably going to have to put the controller down, right? He's going to have to do some film study and actually pay attention to the playbook and watch film and, stay late at the facility and throw with receivers and get used to guys and whatever. I mean, maybe the reason the timing was never really there in Arizona is because, I don't know, maybe it seems like Murray wasn't putting in the work. And, we talk about the Call of Duty stuff and people, that's overstated. He's whatever. He can have fun. Yeah, absolutely. You can have fun. But I think when you're getting paid millions of dollars, there is an expectation that you put some work in at your craft, right?
We lost Chad here for a
right?
moment.
You come into the facility for the beginning of practice to the end, and then you leave and you're out, and guys are working out. And where's Kyler? I mean, where's our quarterback? Oh, he's on Call of Duty. I see him live on whatever right now. That's not a great look, right? And I get it, man. Everybody, well, not everybody, but a lot of people like to play video games. That's fantastic. But I think you have to do that stuff in your free time, not when you're expected to be doing whatever it is for the offense to take that next step forward when you are the starting quarterback. Some of that stuff's a bad look, and you wonder if he's matured past that. I'm sure the Vikings did their due diligence. They're at least going to ask him. I don't know what he's going to say. Like, he's not going to come in there and go, no, I mean, playbook, schmaybook. Like, whatever, dude. I'm playing Call of Duty. Like, the new one's coming out, whatever. I don't know. Like I said, you have to hope that he's matured past all that, and he's willing to put the controller down at least for the time being and learn the offense and get in there and give them a chance to win. And then, yeah, sure, he could win the job, but maybe this will kick up something in JJ McCarthy. Maybe it'll fire up some competitive. I mean, he seems to be a competitive guy. Maybe this will fire up some competitiveness in him, and the Vikings get the best of both worlds. They get two guys going at it and really trying to win the job, and who knows?
The Vikings could have the best of both worlds, or they could put themselves in a weird spot again because they were in a spot where obviously McCarthy healing from an injury, out for the rest of the year. Sam Darnold takes the reins and he runs with it. Now 2 regular seasons ago, and they made a decision to not bring Sam Darnold back. They bought in the JJ McCarthy, the top 10 pick that they traded up to go get. And Sam Darnold goes and wins the Super Bowl. What happens if Kyler Murray comes out and just starts balling out? He wins the starting job. He balls out. I mean, that's got to be it, I feel like, for JJ McCarthy. I feel like if he doesn't win this job in training camp, that's probably the end of his Vikings tenure because now there's 2 different journeymen. I mean, I guess we can't call Kyler Murray a journeyman yet because this is his second team, but it's starting to give the vibe. If this doesn't work out for Kyler, he could be on that route where he is on the Darnold progression where, he finds 3-4 different teams before he gets to where he really is settled in at. Yeah. But for JJ McCarthy, I think this is, if you don't win in training camp, you're probably done as a Viking because you lost to Darnold. You should have lost to Darnold probably. The Vikings probably should have decided to move on from you the last time. And now if Kyler Murray comes in and balls out, now it's an even worse look for the Vikings and that front office that traded up to go get this guy and a guy that never really showed a ton of promise throwing the ball at Michigan. Let's just say that too. He was never like super impressive throwing the ball. They had, he had Blake Corum in that backfield. He had other guys in that backfield that were very, very talented. And Michigan won because of the defense and the running attack. It was never because J.J. McCarthy was lighting it up. It wasn't Caleb Williams at USC or Oklahoma or anything like that. It wasn't any of that type of effort. I don't know.
He made a couple really nice throws in his college career. He did. He was accurate at times. There were games when I watched him, and as an Ohio State fan, you watch Michigan, you want to keep your eye on him. he had games where he would, throw some really accurate passes. He would have an entire half, and he's 12 of 14, whatever, 13 of 15, but the yardage was always down. It was never a ton of yards, and that's okay to a certain extent. But you do wonder with, just with what was going on at Michigan when he was there, how much the whole Connor Stallion situation played into, them having that success. We just don't know. And I know that's like we're beating a dead horse when we keep bringing it up, but I think you go back to that. You go back to all those draft picks and some of the guys that haven't panned out in the NFL, and it does make you think like, well, I mean, there is an advantage to knowing what your opponent is going to do. Like, I know that people say, well, it doesn't matter, you still have to execute. Sure. But it's also easier to execute when you know exactly when they're going to be where and what they're going to be doing when they get there, right? Like I think that's it's a little bit easier. And some sports aren't like that. And so we can go back to the Astros cheating scandal in baseball. When I was hitting, I never liked it. People say, I'll say your first name or whatever if it's a fastball. I'll say your last name if it's off speed. I never wanted to hear that, Eli. Like I just wanted to react, right? I just wanted to see the pitch and react to it. I didn't really like knowing what was coming because I was like, well, what if they're wrong? Like, I'm gearing up for a fastball and it's like a curveball in the dirt or something.
Yeah.
Just let me hit. Just let me see it and react to it. But I think in football, when you've got 11 guys and you've got to, you've got to move in unison. You got to do everybody's got to do their job at the same exact time. You got to do it right. I do think it becomes easier when you know exactly what the defense is going to do, or vice versa. If you're playing on defense, you know what the offense is going to do. But that's neither here nor there. I mean, JJ's, like I said, McCarthy's a competitive guy. He's obviously got some talent. I mean, he got those Division I offers without, Connor Stallions in his back pocket. He didn't know what was going on in high school. So he's a good enough player to get those offers and to go win the starting job at Michigan. We'll see. I mean, we'll see what he's made of, right? We'll see what they're both made of. But I think there's definitely going to be a quarterback competition. Who knows? I wouldn't even be able to call who would be the winner of that right now. I mean, you might even lean toward Kyler Murray depending on, again,
I think he's got
where he is.
I think, not to interrupt, but I think he's just got more. He's got more deep threat passing ability.
Yeah,
I think he's got a little bit more scrambling ability.
Yeah,
he's never had a super serious injury that is like, whereas McCarthy, you wonder about the knee at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So I would lean towards Kyler Murray. I think we might see the next reclamation project there in Minnesota. I think he's gonna have a good year.
Yeah,
and I think Justin Jefferson's hoping for sure because he is sick of just not getting to play postseason football.
Yeah, and I have some fun. I have some fun with Kyler Murray and the jokes or whatever. But I mean, I wish no ill will on him. If he goes there and wins the job, great. And JJ McCarthy from Michigan, I don't care if he wins the job, great, right? Like whoever plays. I would never wish the Vikings or any other organization to be in the quarterback albatross that the Browns have been in for 26 years. So I hope they figure it out soon because it can be frustrating as a fan. I know that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, hey. Let's swing over to the AFC North. Keep it in football, but over to the AFC North. Tom Pelissero announced that the Bengals signed defensive tackle Jonathan Allen. Are you shocked that the Bengals addressed defense? Now, Jonathan Allen, he's a name, obviously. The 17th overall pick in 2017 NFL draft by the Washington Commanders. He's 6'3", 300 pounds. He signed a 30-year, $51 million contract with Minnesota last offseason, but he was released. And now he signs this deal, two-year deal here with the Bengals. The grade for PFF, a career low 53.2 last season, and he's 30. He just turned 31 in January. The big thing is 34 pressures. So that's the only thing really for the Bengals that you can look at, I guess, as a plus side. They're paying him over $20 million over the 2 years. So what do you think of this, Chad? I mean, it's a guy that. Is it just a guy, or is it somebody that's going to impact this defense in the same week that the Ravens brought in Trey Hendrickson?
I mean, I don't think that he's going to make as big of an impact as any of these the edge rushers, and Max Crosby or Trey Hendrickson. And Trey Hendrickson's a little bit older as well. He's 31 years old. So I don't know that it's going to be that kind of impact. But I texted you earlier in the day. I was like, this is news because I genuinely didn't know that the Bengals front office even knew they had a defense. Like I'm just shocked that they did anything that paid any attention to the defensive side of the ball. Yeah. So I was like, hey, they're aware that you do have to actually stop or at least slow the other team down, right? The quarterback pressures are a big deal from the defensive tackle spot. I mean, I think he's just got a ton of talent. he's kind of a block eater, right? We talk about those guys that eat up blocks and make plays, and he's a big dude, man. I mean, again, not going to make the impact of a Trey Hendrickson or a Max Crosby wherever he ends up. I mean, he's seemingly back. He's all in as a Raider now. By the way, I don't know if you saw his statement, but what's he going to say?
Yeah.
I mean, people are like, all right, well, he's taking it well, but I mean, again, they were supposedly they were mutually working together to make that deal work, and Crosby's not going to go back in there and blow them up. I mean, that's a weird situation with the Ravens, but whatever. I digress. Speaking of Bam Adebayo, no, I'm kidding. I don't know. I think he's kind of a dude. I think he's a good block eater. He's a big dude in the middle. Understands the game of football. Has played pretty well. I think can help them stop the run, or at least slow down the run. They have some issues with stopping the run there. I think he's good there, but I think he's it's an okay signing. It's pretty good, not bad.
All right. Well, we'll keep an eye on it. And obviously, the Bengals going to keep an eye on Joe Burrow, making him happy because that's the biggest thing they can do right now. If you lose Joe Burrow, then none of these signings really, truly matter. So,
you remember the Burrow to the Vikings talk that was going on? Like, everybody, I thought there was some steam there. And
not
now it's
anymore,
Kyler Murray there. And I mean, what were the Bengals going to do? They weren't going to trade him. I mean, that's weird.
Yeah, just odd, man. I'll tell you this, Chad. No, what isn't odd, what is actually pretty cool, is our new sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, which is W Energy, and it's W.GG. You can go ahead and go to the website, use the code InsideEdge10, get 10% off your order. Very, very great energy. If you're looking for it, W Energy has got you covered. A lot of great flavors. And no artificial flavoring like sugars, things like that. It's just straight to the point, and I like that the most, Chad. I'm not a big energy guy in terms of like energy drinks, but I do dabble with W Energy, and I definitely think somebody who's trying it for the first time should take advantage of the code 10% off Inside Edge 10.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, zero sugar, just natural ingredients or what does it. You get that crashless energy boost, and I think that's the biggest thing is like no jitters, no crash. For me, I can't stand a lot of energy drinks because they give you you get those shakes, and I don't like that feeling. You know what I mean? I don't want to. I'd rather just be tired. I'll deal through the tired. I'm old and I'm used to it. I will deal with being tired. But no, it's like I said, no sugar. Just you don't get the jitters. You don't have that crash afterwards. It's more of a natural energy spike, and I like that about it. And you can't go wrong with the flavors. I mean, if you've looked at the website, the range of flavors is pretty amazing. I think the names are even pretty creative. But a ton of flavors. Lot to love there.
Absolutely. Use the code InsideEdge10. That's capital I, capital E, InsideEdge10, all one word. W Energy, W.GG. And go ahead and get 10% off your order. All right, we're going to take a quick pause. When we come back here, we are going to talk about Bam Adebayo one more time here because it has been one heck of a week for Bam Adebayo. We're going to have some conversations about Erik Spoelstra, his comments, and then Chad and I are going to divulge into some crazy different things into this Thursday. We have had a heck of a week, and we figured why not. Let's just end the week with a bang. This is Inside Edge Primetime here on the Inside Edge Network. That's Chad, Bryan. I'm Eli Moon. We're right back after this. And welcome back to Inside Edge Primetime here on the Inside Edge Network. Chad Bryan to my right, your left. I am Eli Moon. We have one final segment here on this week of Primetime. An eventful week, Chad, and we have had a lot to talk about. Bam Adebayo, he's led the charge, and we've had some strong statements on Bam Adebayo and the way it was done, the 83-point game. Erik Spoelstra, the Miami Heat head coach, has some things he wanted to say about people that, felt some type of way about Bam Adebayo. I'm going to play this for you, and then I want your reaction, okay? How's that sound?
Fair. Sounds fair. I can do that.
Okay. All right, here's Erik Spoelstra.
I apologize to absolutely no one. Period. And going into the game, it's a Tuesday night game against a team where they're not playing for anything, where their organization is trying to lose. We've already lost a game, in that kind of situation. We have players that are sitting out, and I spoke to Bam about I want, as our best player and team captain, for him to be locked in and ready. And he sure was.
All right, Chad. Erik Spoelstra wanted Bam Adebayo locked in and ready. Now, can you understand why they did what they did, the 83-point game?
I mean, locked in and ready is fine. And some of the problems that I have with this, again, it's not. I need to talk more slowly. No kidding. Inside joke. No, inside edge, inside joke. I don't know. No, some of the problems that I've had on this, I'll admit, I had to do some research. Okay, 83 points, crazy, right? I dismissed it because I said, what was with all the 43 shots from the floor? It's wild. And then I'm like, well, let me see what Wilt did when Wilt scored 100 points, right? By the way, no video evidence of that game. So we didn't see. I mean, maybe they were missing free throws at the end, and who knows? Maybe it looked absolutely wild. I don't know. But I'm telling you right now, maybe I'm a little bit wrong on this, okay? Sometimes I'm wrong. Wilt Chamberlain, when he scored 100 points, took 63 shots from the floor, okay? That's a lot of shots. That's 20 more than Bam. I obliterated Bam Adebayo for taking 43 shots.
Yeah.
Wilt Chamberlain took 63 in his 100-point game, right?
Yeah.
It's only 17 points more. Not very efficient. I mean, right?
Yeah.
So I can admit that maybe I was a little bit wrong there. He was also 28 of 32 from the free throw line. So not quite 43 free throws, but I mean, Bam can't help if he's getting fouled, right? He's not getting fouled by his own teammate. He's not fouling himself. So I will step back just a little bit on those two items. But I just thought, again, the missed free throws and the wild, just the stuff that was going on at the end of the game to me was unnecessary. I get Erik Spoelstra, first of all, okay, sticking up for his guy. I understand that. That's fine. You're always going to, I mean, as a coach, unless your player does something absolutely outlandishly stupid on the floor, almost with intent to, maim someone, you're going to have their back, right? Unless they cross that line. I don't know. I mean, do you have to look the other way on the missed free throw stuff as a coach? Don't you think part of Erik Spoelstra had to have been just like nails on a chalkboard, like watching them miss free throws, up 27 points at the end of the game. At that point, you're not trying to secure a win. Like, I get what Spoelstra's saying. Like, hey, I need you locked in. I need you ready. You're going to have to score a lot, whatever. I doubt he said, hey, I'm going to need 83 out of you, right? Doubt those words were spoken exactly, but
yeah. And the game was already decided too. The game was already decided. And Erik Spoelstra, one of the better coaches in the NBA over the last 2 decades, really. Now, we're going on 2 decades. He won the multiple championships with the Miami Heat. Has had them always near the contention in the Eastern Conference, and you would expect somebody like Erik Spoelstra to have a little bit more love and respect for the game. Not saying he doesn't, but in this regard,
he's always done things the right way, and that's what was so puzzling to me.
That's what I'm saying. In this regard, it's mind-boggling that he's taking this approach where he's not apologizing because he asked for this. I don't know. I just think there's a way to do things, and the missed free throws at the end of the game, you're up by 20, 30 points, and you can even see there's like video of Bam Adebayo. Now it looks like he's telling him, hey, like, don't foul. Like, come on, like, don't foul. Like, so maybe he didn't even want this type of like pressure or this type of like spotlight for this reason.
Yeah.
Double A actually did a good job on Midnight Run with Anthony Alford talking about the highlights of Bam Adebayo's career. And when you talk about this, and I brought up that, hey, you're not going to really have a highlight when you talk about this. You're going to talk about, man, look at the 83-point game, the 43 free throws, the missing at the end of the game. You know, I think this is going to be more of a joke laughed about than actually a celebrated accomplishment for Bam Adebayo. So I thought, you know, Double A talked about that yesterday. It was really interesting to hear just different takes, you know, and he had, you know, so he has some thoughts on what you had to say, Chad. I know you were very strong in your thoughts about Bam Adebayo yesterday.
Yeah, I'll back off on the free or on the, you know, on the shots from the floor because Wilt Chamberlain did take 20 more. But again, all the, you know, the stuff at the end was Bush League. I don't care. You can vilify me if you want. You can call me old. I am old. You're not going to hurt me there. You don't hurt my feelings. I was bored a long time ago. That actually made me laugh, like, because I said to you on the show, I was like, am I old? Like, am I just like? And listen, I'm not above going out and shaking my fist and yelling at a cloud, right? Like it happens. So yeah, call me old. That was funny, actually. That comment was really funny because I did say that to you on the show. I was like, am I just an old guy here? Am I mad about nothing? And maybe I am. And that's perfectly fine too. But I don't know. It just, for some reason, it rubbed me the wrong way. And I'm not the final, you know, I don't have the final say on this, but for me, it was too much, man. It was too, I don't know. It just felt very, not scummy. That's too far. That's taking it too far. It was just not quite, I don't know.
It wasn't a respectable game.
Yeah. Just that respect for the game, like you said, that it wasn't there, and it just wasn't a very honorable way to put up 83 and to surpass Kobe as the second, you know, highest scoring individual game of all time. I don't know. It was just sort of a mess at the end. It just you watch the highlights and you're like, oh, man, the missed free throw. Like, come on, like. Some of it was just too much. Congratulations to him. I mean, he clearly has now the second highest individual scoring game of all time. Can't take that away from him, right? But I do feel like when we look back, we're going to go, that time Bam had 83. You know, where it's like, man, remember when Kobe had 81, when Kobe was just like Kobe?
Right.
And say, no one's going to say, well, when Bam was just being Bam and put up 83, like, no one will say that. And I think that's my biggest problem. Whatever. I mean, anybody can get hot and go on a scoring streak. We've seen Donovan Mitchell put up a ton of points here. But like we said, it was organically within the framework of a game where they're trying to win, right? Not when you're up 27 points, missing free throws, fouling the other team. And just, I just have some problems with all of that. The visuals on some of that were just really tough to look at for me, but whatever. I'm old. It's fine.
Yep. All right. You're not old, pal. You're in your prime.
I'm getting there. I mean, I'm on my way. Every day I get a little bit older, Eli. One day older.
Well, that makes both of us. Here's what we're going to do, though. We have had a long week, a crazy week. Week almost took me out in terms of I didn't know if I was going to be able to do the show with you tonight because of
it was a photo finish, man.
I was down for the count, and then our technical difficulties. We're rocking and rolling. I think we're going to combine for final thoughts tonight. And I'd love for you to set this up because you kind of were talking about this a little bit, I believe, yesterday on the show. We've talked about this outside of the show, just the legend, the history of Bigfoot. Do you want to set this up here for our final thoughts?
Sure. Listen, I don't know what you believe. I don't know what I believe. I've never seen Bigfoot or anything that resembles Bigfoot. I saw a bear once. You know, that was pretty cool. That's about it. I've never seen anything. I've never just looked at something and said, that's Bigfoot. I've never walked up to some people walk up to and maybe if you're in the comments and you can explain this to me, an arrangement of sticks or fallen trees in the woods, and they go, Bigfoot's been here. And is there only one Bigfoot? Like, what's his name? Like, a Bigfoot has been here? The Bigfoot? I don't know. Like, BF? What do we call? I don't know what we call him. Is he our best friend? We don't know. But he's here apparently, and he's in Portage County. That's just very close to where I am. So it got me thinking, maybe I should do some research. Maybe I need to find out what to do. What better place to go than this Fox 8 story and I said, I had said, one way or the other, good or bad, whatever you think, if you do enough research on Bigfoot, you're going to see some interesting people have some interesting things to say. Here is one of those interesting people with some of those interesting things right here on Fox 8 locally, right? Cleveland's own Fox 8. I'll play the story. It's about 2.5 minutes long. And then Eli, I want to get your reaction And then we'll get out of here with our final thoughts. Probably gravitating toward Bigfoot, I would imagine. Take a look.
It's normal for there to be Bigfoot sightings all over the U.S., but it's not normal to have multiple sightings in a small area within a short number of days.
Multiple sightings of a massive creature reported in Portage County heading into Trumbull.
It's a hair-covered creature. It's on two legs. It's not walking like a bear. It's walking like a human would.
Half a dozen sightings in a few short days, reported to Jeremiah Byron, host of the Bigfoot Society podcast, who's interviewed over 1,000 people on the subject and says these accounts seem sincere.
They're shook up. They're very emotional, and they're like, I just want to stay anonymous.
Starting on March 6th in Manawa Center, then Garrettsville.
Anonymous individual and his friend, and they were hiking on the Headwaters Trail, and they saw a 10-foot tall Sasquatch. When it was grunting at them, it turned its head, but it had to turn its head at the shoulders and up the neck, which is a very important detail that hardcore Bigfooters will realize that that's pretty crazy.
An older woman in Wyndham also saw something on the 9th.
She's a skeptic. She doesn't believe in Bigfoot.
Followed by a terrifying encounter in Newton Township for a man taking his dog out at 4 a.m.
The gentleman looks out there, and he sees a large, black, shadowy figure out in the tree line, and it's about 9 to 10 feet tall. The dog couldn't stop shaking.
Did they get pictures? Did they get video?
These individuals were out doing activities or in their backyard. They weren't out with cameras ready, and these happened. These are very short encounters, few seconds. This hasn't happened since like the 1970s, to be honest.
In Minerva, Ohio, August 1978, it became known as the Minerva Monster, terrorizing a family with multiple witnesses, even Stark County Sheriff's deputies responding and documenting the case, with few answers to this day, just like now, says Jeremiah.
So what do you think is going on here? What do you think this is?
So it's a great question. You know, what is going on here? The Bigfoot community is extremely excited because we thought that we would never live through anything like this again, where there's a massive amount of sightings in such a short amount of time.
In Portage County, Suzanne Stratford, Fox 8 News.
Okay. Eli, you watched the last 2 minutes and 30 seconds of that with me. Very exciting news. We didn't think we'd live through this. Us Bigfooters.
Hardcore Bigfooters.
Hardcore Bigfooters. We are excited. We've I haven't done it. They've interviewed thousands of people apparently. They seem sincere. Like the old lady in Minerva or wherever. No, well, not Minerva. I don't know where she was. It doesn't matter. She's an old lady. She seems sincere, right? What old lady is going to lie to you about? Have you ever had an old lady approach you, Eli, on the street and lie to you about Bigfoot?
No.
Why would they start now? What do you think, man? Is Bigfoot around? Or it's like a tall guy walking with hair, and I'm like, was it just grunting with me yelling about Bam Adebayo? Like, I don't know.
Like the way his neck turned instead of his shoulders. That's hardcore Bigfooters know.
Hardcore. You know. Yeah, you know. It's the shoulder turn. He's apparently modeling. He's walking the catwalk in the woods in Portage County. What's your gut tell you?
Are we supposed to believe in Bigfoot?
I don't know.
Is like Bigfoot like Beetlejuice? If we don't believe in Bigfoot, like Beetlejuice, and like bad shit happens.
I don't know. Maybe don't say his name 3 times. I'm not sure. Just in case. I don't know. Listen, I don't know all the lore. I'll be honest with you. I mean, I've heard some stories or whatever, and I've seen things. I've seen videos. There's I think it's the Patterson-Gimlin film from, it's a old film, whatever, where it's probably the most interesting piece of film, for Bigfooters, hardcore Bigfooters, just Bigfooters. Yeah, only the hardcore Bigfooters. They like that. They say that, it couldn't be fake for so many different reasons or whatever. But if you know anything, if you've ever heard the story of the Patterson-Gimlin film, I mean, these guys were kind of clowns themselves. They had some things going on where there's a little bit of like funny stuff going on. Maybe they could have faked it. Maybe they didn't. I don't know. I don't know, Eli. I really don't know what to think. That fella, surely, I mean, he had the whole setup. He had his Bigfoot hat on. He has his Rode Pod microphone there in front of him. He had some headphones. He was ready to talk to to Fox 8. So this seemed like his moment. I'm not going to take it away from him, man. If he thinks it's Bigfoot, who am I? I don't know. I have no idea. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Erik Spoelstra's not going to apologize for this, though.
Yeah, you know what? It was just a regular Tuesday, and Bigfoot was sighted.
It wasn't a dark and stormy night. Yeah, like what was? Yeah,
Oh
and the
my
old lady
goodness.
got scared, and she, like I said, why are old ladies going to lie to us about Bigfoot? That's not going to happen. I don't know, man. I'll keep an eye out. Portage County is just south of me, literally just south. I mean, I can look out. I can walk out to my street, and I can look south, and I can.
Well,
see
I'm worried for you then.
I'm
worried a little bit
myself. Yeah, I don't know
Okay.
what to do. Do I like watch what kind of food I walk outside
Put
with?
some traps. Put some traps out.
Some Bigfoot traps. What kind of trap catches Bigfoot?
They're probably like bear traps.
Okay, I didn't know if it was like a space portal. I didn't know what to do. I don't know where he comes from. Is he
Space portal.
an
My
alien?
God.
Is he?
All right, before the wheels fall off at this thing, Chad. We got a busy weekend. Tell the people what we got coming up here on the Inside Edge Network. I know you got Saturday and Sunday jam packed. Why don't you tell the people what you got going on?
Formation. Saturday it's all Bigfoot weekend. So Saturday is Bigfoot formation with TK Dandridge and myself, obviously. And then you've got some other things going on Saturday, but we'll see you Sunday morning on the Sunday Bigfoot show. This week it's the Sunday Bigfoot show. It's not the Sunday sports show. It's the Sunday hardcore Bigfooters show. It's all Bigfoot. It's going to be an hour, 2 hours maybe, wall-to-wall Bigfoot. No, we're not going to talk about Bigfoot. We got the Sunday sports show on Sunday with Ryan Mosser and TK Dandridge. We'll get into we're going to go over the Browns signed a bunch of offensive linemen. And we're going to see if these guys are just like warm bodies just to be in the offensive line room when they have a meeting. So Andrew Berry feels better about, hey, look, I put some guys in the room. Or if they can get these guys together and actually, maybe, Coach Warhop can get them in there, gel them together a little bit. And there are some promising things. I'll save it for Sunday, but there are some promising things about each of these guys, despite, you get the low PFF grades here and there, whatever. Some guys had some career low years last year. Again, don't get so hung up on that. I mean, right now, some of these guys could be depth. We don't know what they're going to do in the draft. But we will go over them on Sunday. We'll talk to them. We'll talk to them. We'll talk about them on Sunday with Ryan Mosser. Maybe if I can try to get him in, maybe he can run them through his algorithm. I don't know if I have time to do that or not, but we'll find out. But
right.
I'm sure he'll have some things to say. And as always, TK will have some strong opinions. So, we'll talk about the offensive line upgrades. We'll talk about just free agency in general for the Browns, how we thought that went. And how we thought, some of our friends like the Ravens, like what moves they made, how that might affect the Browns season next year. So, we'll talk about some Browns. We'll talk about maybe some World Baseball Classic. I still want to get Ryan's take on Mark DeRosa too, Ryan and TK, on the whole Mark DeRosa situation. Like, did he not know? Says he did. He just misspoke. Whatever. Again, not trying to throw shade, but that's a big deal. You have to know how to get to the next round of the tournament. Clearly, Miami of Ohio did not get the memo on how to do that today. They're looking at what they're looking at. But that's what we'll have. What do you have going on this weekend, Eli? You got some things?
Yeah, I know we're up against this, so I'll keep it short to the point. We got Real Talk with Papa Moon. Yeah, we got Saturdays at 5 p.m. Real Talk with Papa Moon. Really, really exciting sit-down conversation. I won't tell you who the guest is, so you just got to tune in to Saturday. I'll produce that. And then you'll have Sunday, the main event. Obviously with Robert Zicki, W. Anthony Alford, and myself. Sunday night, typically around 8 to 9 p.m. range, and then we go for about 2 to 3 hours. We'll just see how long we roll. But obviously, Chad gets to start it Saturday and Sunday mornings, and we'll take you home in the early evenings with Papa Moon and main event. So busy weekend. Make sure you give us a follow, Inside Edge Net, if you enjoyed everything, all the conversations this week. Thank you for choosing us as your source of sports, entertainment, mental health,
Mike
and
Check
everything in
take 2
between.
tomorrow night too, right? Mike Check take 2 tomorrow night.
Thank
you. Don't forget about that. Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much. Mike Check take 2 tomorrow night, second episode with David Ruiz and Autumn Chisholm. So keep an eye on that. We'll be back with you Monday, 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. Chad, Bryan, and I. Until then, we hope everybody has a great rest of your evening. Get the weekend started off right and stay safe. We'll see you guys soon.
Shoulder turn.